Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1980s.
Well, would you care to walk around in the scene with your schlong hanging out? Only in your case. Darling, it would be a schlort.
This is episode 247, recorded November 29th, 2023.
Gruesome Magazine.
And who said this movie's not funny?
I feel like I should have done it though, like only in your case, darling, instead of only in your case, darling.
You can do it again.
Sorry.
That's the actress here.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, there's so many choices. So many choices.
I give people, you can go twice.
No, Jeff.
It's an easy
I want to know who you are. Who are you, Jeff?
I am your host, Jeff Mohr, and this podcast is about horror films released between 1980 and 1989. Each episode, my co-hosts, Bill Mulligan, Crystal Cleveland, and Chad Hunt, and I will tackle another classic or not so classic film from this radical, gory, influential, and gruesome decade. Yep. And apparently, according to the feedback we've gotten, the last film we did was a not so classic. So we'll see about this one. Well. Joining me tonight is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl, and co-host of the Gruesome Magazine podcast. And fresh off of Thanksgiving, as are we all. How you doing?
Yes, I'm great. I'm like, it's December tomorrow. So
I see you broke out the Santa hat.
But she keeps the Halloween stuff in the background, so.
Well, but see, nothing's Halloween.
Well,
technically, okay, so that's a Halloween tree, and technically that's a jack-o'-lantern, but it's not a jack-o'-lantern. It's carved with the X-Files, so not technically Halloween. That's just horror.
Killer Clown.
It's all horror.
That's
all horror.
That's true.
Everything is horror related, but I don't think there's anything left in here that is. Y'all can't see most of it anymore because I have so much over here and stuff, but
it's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh. I do have one Halloween thing. Okay.
Oh,
I got to take care of that.
Uh-oh.
Oopsies.
Also with us is Bill Mulligan, writer, director, special effects guru, co-host of Decades of Horror, the 1970s, a published author, and an all-around nice guy, but not always real prepared. Okay.
I was like, he better keep a copy right there. I mean, come on.
I should always have it right there.
Just
in my hand. Yeah. Woo. Well, yeah. December.
How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing all right. Survived Thanksgiving and looking forward to Christmas. Hit a deer on the way home. Yeah.
That's fun.
Watch out, folks. They're out in force and they're not too bright. They really are not up there. They're not like dolphins and other animals that can be trained.
Wait, you're trying to avoid me? Let me run in front.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. No. God. He ran out in front of us.
Every time.
I, being a thinking being, swerved to avoid him, and I would have gotten away with it too if he hadn't
gotten away with it.
Ran back from whence he came right back into me, like it was suicide by Bill.
That is so dumb. Did he die? Did he actually die?
Oh yeah, he died.
Okay,
Wasn't pretty.
I'm sorry.
That's
probably
I felt bad.
Don't.
I mean, I think it's what he wanted.
Okay, Bill, do you care at all about the honeybees and the hummingbirds and that sort of thing? Because deer literally ruin the environment for those animals. I'm not kidding. Like around here, the hummingbirds and stuff are begged because they eat all the flowers. The flowers.
Yeah.
So we have to actually
I would feel worse if I was driving my car and a hummingbird slammed into my windshield. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd notice it, but if I did, I'd feel worse.
All right. Chad Hunt is not able to join us tonight, but I'm sure he will be back next time.
Yes.
He has a tummy ache, so I guess maybe he ate too much for Thanksgiving.
And then he watched this movie. He ate too much and watched this movie. Classic blunder.
This is a fabulous movie. What?
I knew it. So also before we get started, remind everybody that Decades of Horror and Gruesome Magazine are partnering with Play Now Media on several of their channels. In particular, Decades of Horror of the 1980s is on the Wicked Horror TV channel. So you could check us out there. Also, you can go to our Gruesome Magazine YouTube channel, or on our website, or on streaming audio podcast apps. All righty. On this podcast, we start by giving some basic details of the film we are covering, followed by each of our first impressions of the movie, taglines, whatever there may be, and a general discussion about whatever trips our trigger, hopefully relating to the movie, and hopefully shorter than the movie, but not always.
No guarantees.
All right, our topic this episode is Return to Horror High, released in 1987, directed by Bill Froelich, written by Bill Froelich, Mark Lisson, Dana Escalante, and Greg H. Sims. The cast includes Lori Lethan, Brendan Hughes, Alex Rocco, Scott Jacoby, who, I'm going to pause here for a minute. This is Scott Jacoby. And let's see, we'll give Bill a quiz right now. Where have we seen him?
He was a young person on a TV show, but I don't remember which one.
Well, also, in Decades of Horror, the 1970s, he was Jodie Foster's paramour in The Little Girl Who Lived Down the Lane.
Oh, wow. I totally forgot. I didn't see
the magician character.
Yeah.
Kid.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So he grew up to look like that. Okay, cool.
So anyway, also after Scott Jacoby is Andy Romano. I have to stick him in here too because he's a to me a recognizable character actor, and he plays the principal here. And finally, Richard Brestoff, Maureen McCormick, Vince Edwards, Philip McCown, and George Clooney.
What? George Clooney?
Oh, yeah.
What? He's a major actor. What's he doing in this?
You knew he was in there. He was the first to die.
That's right.
But did he? Okay.
He's paying his dues.
Is Balcor Film Investors, distributed by New World Pictures, filming locations. I should have edited this, but the Clark High School in La Crescenta, California, and Hughes Junior High School in Woodland Hills. Filming dates, May 1986. Release date, February 20th, 1987. The budget, estimated to be $1 million. Domestic box office, $1.2 million. And the synopsis. In the early 1980s, a series of gruesome murders occurred at Crippen High School. A few years later, a film crew uses the now abandoned Crippen High as the set for a film, but an uninvited guest makes an appearance on the set.
Hey, I just want to say, for $1 million, they should have been able to get better looking fake blood. I'm not too impressed with that photo right there.
Okay.
Pretty pink.
Well, I blew it up.
Yeah, but so it also is a lot of in giallo is very, ridiculously colored,
And with this movie, I'm not sure if it wasn't meant to look like bad fake blood.
Yeah.
Well,
it's because it's campy.
Yeah.
This happens to be Bill's pick. So
that's right.
We'll hear his first impressions first. And when did he first see this?
I first saw this like a few days ago. I had not seen this film. And I was just, I decided to be a little proactive and it's going to be my turn to pick an 80s film. What should I pick? And I was sort of running through things, what's available. I always do my search for films that, for whatever reason, are never streaming. I'm looking right at you, Excalibur. But, I saw this one. I'm like, I remember the poster for this being pretty cool and everything. And I read a few reviews that said, hey, this is one of those, unsung gems and, different from the rest. And, okay, I'll give it a shot. And what better excuse to watch a movie than we have to do for this? So what did I think?
Uh-oh.
I'm of several minds here. First, I admire the fact that they tried to do something different. This came out when there were lots of slasher movies, which is one of my least favorite horror genres. I think they wore out their welcome real fast, and bad ones are really uninteresting to me. Good ones can be great. So they tried something different. They kind of went meta, and as I'm watching this, I'm like, this is kind of like early Scream. It's sort of self-aware. It's got multiple times when I'm not sure, am I watching what happened? Is it a flashback? Is it a flash forward? Is this the actual thing that's happening, or is this the film that they're making? So I like that. I like that they did something different. They didn't just hack out a bunch of kids at a high school getting killed by a slasher. Boring. There's some funny bits. But it doesn't quite come together. It's a little too meta, and it's not careful enough about letting us know.
Did you say after a while, meta?
Yeah.
Meta?
Meta. It's trying to change the paradigm, but the thing is,
that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's the best.
The thing is, after a while, you get tired of, oh, wait, this just happened. Oh, no, it was just them making a movie. You can only do that so many times. I wish there'd been a clue or something to sort of tell one thing from another. I'm getting confused. Why is this actress wearing a wig now? Is that the wig she wears when she's making the movie, or is this is the movie now over, but she's still wearing it got to be a little too much work keeping track of where this movie was going. So I don't think it's entirely successful, but it's got some good bits in it. And again, I do admire people who try to do something that's not the same old. So for that reason, I think it's definitely it's very 80s. Boy, is it 80s. It's got a few actors in it that I'm familiar with, and it's always fun to see someone like Alex Rocco, because I love him from The Godfather. It's cool seeing a young George Clooney who looks like, just it looks like a sonogram of pre-born George Clooney. He's so young looking, and you're just thinking, dude, I bet when you're making this movie, you just had no idea that one day you'd be George Clooney. So it's always fun to see stuff like that and everything. It's definitely worth seeking out. It's somewhere between classic and not so classic in my book, but I'm glad I picked it. So give me a chance to watch it.
Excellent. Crystal.
So this is the first time I saw this film, and I love this. Let me tell you, I love Brendan Hughes. Oh my God. You don't even know. The Howling Six, the Freaks. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, he is. I mean, there was a wee little bairn named Crystal in the 90s watching that movie. I love him. He's so.
Wow.
I love that dude so much. So he's the lead, and he's so charming to me. I think he's a phenomenal actor. I don't even know why he hasn't been in more, but as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, this is the greatest movie ever. It can do no wrong. But I really actually do like this film. I think this is so inventive, because what Bill didn't like about it, about watching it and you not knowing, is what I did like about it. I liked that you were watching this and you didn't know if they were actually filming it for the film, or it was actually, is it real or is it Memorex? Is it happening or not happening? I think it's so fun. It was way over the top and way campy. And when they went the most inappropriate with a lot of things, you find out it's, within the film at points and stuff. I think it's very clever. I think it's very well written. I think the acting is ridiculous at points with some of the people and way over the top, but it fit with how silly this film is. And I love the way it ended. Maureen McCormick is insane in this.
Oh, I love her. She's my favorite part of the film.
She's insane. It was really weird. I didn't buy it from her. I don't know why. It's too bad. She played such an iconic character. I think it's so hard to break out of that. Almost impossible. But I think this movie is a lot of fun. I think it's very weird and very silly and very interesting. And I I really, really enjoyed it. And I think what's odd is like, it's a horror movie, but let's be real. Oh, are we in spoilers? No, we're not.
We do spoilers all the time.
Oh, spoil the bleep.
So it's basically a horror movie where nobody dies except for maybe one person? Question mark?
Yeah, we're not sure. Yeah.
Maybe. But I love the Scooby-Doo element in this. There is literally a Scooby-Doo moment in this movie that is so ridiculous and made me laugh. I was like, the fuck am I watching? Is this Scooby-Doo? Is this Scooby-Doo? I love it. Like, y'all, this movie is just silly and fun. I really thought it was fun. And yeah.
Okay.
I can't believe this is the first time I've seen it. I swear I remember that poster.
Oh yeah, that poster.
I remember like I remember seeing that like somewhere at some point, but never saw this movie before. So
everywhere, actually, I think. All right. Thanks, Crystal. I haven't seen this before either. And the first time I watched it, I have to admit I wasn't paying real close attention, and I got lost into what time period we were in. So I do this sometimes, as you all know. I watched it again.
Yeah.
And this time I paid attention, and it was actually, once I figured it out, it was easy to follow what was happening when. If it's not the cops reacting to all the bodies out on the lawn, that means it's the film crew. And they're shooting a film, although half the time I wasn't sure they were shooting a film. Are these people dying, or are we shooting the film? And then every once in a while, out of nowhere, a camera would appear and they would break for the cut. But a lot of them, there was a whole big long scene with the quarterback and the one girl out on the field, and then they walk all the way into the building, and all of this stuff happens, and we never see a single camera until they end up out in Lover's Lane at night.
Yeah, I know. That was what was so. I was like, "What?"
But I was like, "I don't assume." But anyway, so I guess, I got to the end. I was writing down everybody that died, and when I finally figured it out, I was like, "Oh, wait a minute." So anyway, it's kind of fun. It tries to be. It's not quite as funny as it's trying to be, but there's some good stuff in there, and you gotta go with the I don't know, stupid fun humor, I guess, because there's a lot of stuff that they say that they don't play on it for humor, but if you're paying attention, the words they use are like, wait a minute.
Yes.
So anyway, I enjoyed it. And I love seeing some of these actors too. I already mentioned Andy Romano, who played Principal Castleman, and Scott Jacoby, who we'd seen in Little Girl Who Lived Down the Lane. So let's check out our what do we do now? Oh, we have to do
taglines with Bill.
Let's see. Crystal did the quote. So Bill, you want to do the tagline?
Sure.
So it is now time for
Taglines with Bill.
That is played by Bill.
So I'll pretend to be Chad. Her. I hate disembodied names. Her.
What? Oh my God.
Oh man. Okay. So let me go get to these. And the funny thing is,
he would certainly repel as Bill, who's afraid of chimpanzees with
razors. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's funny too, because he would be happy to see how few taglines this had, as opposed to the 12 or 13 that will throw. And they're usually terrible. So let's see how these are taglines for this wonderful film here. This one I think catches the high school theme just right. Killer to the left, killer to the right. Stand up, sit down, fright.
Actually, I don't hate it.
No, especially
I don't like
with the poster. With the poster,
it fits the tone of the movie.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we followed up with this second one, School Spirit has never been this dead.
Oh,
that's not good.
No, that's not cute. Mm-mm.
Yeah, stuck with the first one. You struck gold on the first one. No need to.
Yep.
And
that was
Taglines with Chad. And then it plays the end of the first one. As played by Bill Mulligan. Chad.
Yep, that's like the only thing you can do.
Let's jump right into this thing. We do have some amazingly good posters, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, that's the one. I remember seeing this. I can't believe that I never saw it.
So one of the reasons I never rented this is because I thought, well, I don't want to watch this until I watch Horror High. Figuring this was a sequel to a movie I hadn't seen. I, don't want to be a chump and like, who are these characters? What's going on?
Sure. Yeah.
But there is a Horror High, but it had nothing to do with this movie.
It's the setup. I mean, the return to Horror High is
right
after the first thing that is not in the movie. Okay. So in a similar manner, here's our second poster.
She kind of looks like
I have never seen that. Never.
It looks like They Live,
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
That looks that's ridiculous. And it totally I hate it. I hate this poster.
As much as you like the other one, you hate this one.
Yeah, I mean, the face is creepy AF, and what are those man hands on that? Like, what is going on there?
They are. You're absolutely right.
You're right.
Like, what is happening here? I don't even know. I don't like it. And those pigtails, that's going to give me nightmares. I don't like it. Those eyes, nope.
It does kind of remind me of the Suspiria ad. Yeah. That's so. Yeah, it's not a good poster, but it is creepy.
Yeah.
The other one's just funny.
The other one's cute.
Yeah,
really.
Look at that. Oh, look at her. She's a skeleton, but she's a cheerleader
with saddle
shoes. Also, yeah, it's so cute.
And she's I just know HH, so she's got Horror High on her. Yeah.
It's
very, very nice. See, that's a good cover. That sells the.
That's why that one is probably the better one.
It lets you know this is going to be a little campy, a little bit silly with probably maybe more comedy than horror. And this one.
And what is all that text on there?
That's a lot.
Why would that be so big?
I'm thinking it's all the people.
Yeah, they usually put that down at the bottom, though.
Well, they're
really.
How at the beginning of a movie, this is. I mean, I understand we have to do this, but it's a little bit of a pet peeve. At the beginning of a movie, now you get all of the companies that had anything to do with this, right? So that's what they're doing. You got New World Pictures presents a Greg Sims production, a Froehlich Lisson film. My pet peeve is not only do we have to see it in text at the front of movies, we also have to see their fun little logo animation that people devise for their
which
company.
Is sometimes like better produced. Better produced than the movie itself. It's like, man, I wish the guy who had animated that logo had done the movie.
That's true.
I don't need to see both. That's anyway.
I agree.
That's my soapbox for that. But
see, now that you say this, it makes me think. Next time I'm involved with a movie, I want to suggest that they put a bunch of those at the beginning, even though we just make these things for $1.25 and just do the absolute worst ones,
a Bill Mulligan production.
A Bill Mulligan production, and it's literally a dog taking a crap out in the field or something.
Yeah. Well, they kind of there's some bad hat, Harry,
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So Lori Lethen, who plays, I guess she plays 3 parts.
Yeah.
And they make a comment during the movie about how people keep disappearing, but apparently,
and so they just change her wig and stuff. It's so funny.
People just had to change a wig, and she said she had a lot of fun doing this.
It looked like she was having. Now, strangely enough, although she plays like 3 roles, trying to find pictures of her in this movie kind of defeated me. I ran out of time.
Well, it's amazing because George Clooney, who's in it for 10 minutes.
Oh, him. Nothing.
His pictures all over the place in this movie. So, Yeah.
Because George Clooney, like, come on.
So she's in Bloody Birthday, which we're going to have to do at some point, I'm sure.
Yes, we will.
And The Prey. We haven't done The Prey, have we?
No.
Okay, I hear it's terrible, but we'll probably do it anyway.
Good. Can't wait. So excited.
Well,
I thought she was good in this. I thought she looked like she was having fun.
She's fantastic.
And just sort of an infectious quality to her. She wasn't, I mean, she was embracing the over-the-top quality without going too over the top. And I thought she was quite good in it.
She was very consistent, I thought.
I know she does horror conventions, so maybe one day I'll get a chance to see her and tell her really liked her in this.
Yep, me too. I think she was a lot of fun.
She did what did I just see? I think I saw the Werewolf TV series.
Oh,
Werewolf TV series. That sounds fun.
Well, she did an episode of Starman and an episode in the Werewolf series.
I think she was in Murder, She Wrote. I mean, she did the rounds, you know.
Yeah. Matlock. Alrighty. I thought she was good. And so she had that wig, she had the short hair, and I forget what the other one was. All right. Well, here we go with Alex Rocco.
See, I love this guy. I love this
him.
guy.
I know,
he's great.
Me too. Mm-hmm.
He's perfect playing this producer marketer.
Yeah. He could have played this. He could have played these roles forever because it's just basically, Mo Green doing his spiel. He looked like he was having a lot of fun. And that was, but he'll always be Mo Green to me. He'll always be the guy who got shot in the eye.
And actually that top picture there that's actually kind of a fun cut because I forget what's happening off scene. I think it's is it when the giant motor on the stand with the blade spinning comes and hits the guy, and then it flashes to him throwing a bucket of blood on his head. Splash. See, we need more blood.
Yeah. He just plays the perfect idea of what a low budget producer is like. Even with the sweater tied around his neck and the glasses and he just needs maybe a little more gold necklaces or something.
So funny. He's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does something. He's talking to somebody for an interview. And what does he say? No, this is nothing. This is nothing like Babysitter Massacre.
It was the Susan chick, wasn't it? The Susan chick. Yeah, because she was the interview for like the one. He's like, no, this is gonna be classy. And then you have the girl. As soon as he says that, you have to see the girl with her boobs saying, "This movie's so funny. It's so tongue in cheek. It's so ridiculous and I love it. I think that's so."
Well, since you brought it up, the thing that really cracked me up is when the special effects guy, very early, she walks out totally naked. Hey, see, take a look. These are beautiful, aren't they? Yeah, they're great. Are those yours? No.
Yes, and I thought he meant are they real or not or something. I was like, oh, he means like literally.
And then he walks up, pulls one off, throws it over his shoulder.
I like the special effects guy, but of course, Alex Rocco is one of those people I would have loved to have had a chance to interview him or something because he had an interesting life. I think he got cast as Mo Green because before he became an actor, he was kind of involved in the criminal life. He spent some time in jail. There's all kinds of stories. I mean, he was able to draw on some real life stuff, but then turned it around, much like Danny Trejo and all, and was apparently really, really well liked by everybody who worked with him, and went on to do quite a bit of stuff. I didn't realize. I think he was nominated or won an Emmy for some other roles later on. He did a lot of good stuff. So good for him.
We did do another movie that he was in, The Lady in White.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes,
he played the father. Totally different role. a good actor. He does an excellent job in this, and he is kind of funny. Well, here's some of our name people. So first up, we have George.
There he is. Look at him, a kid. And I put in some of the.
He was not cute. He got better looking as he got older.
Well, that's not a very good shot, but he's got the hair and he's got the little bit of the swagger, right? Don't you think?
I don't get George Clooney. I'll be honest with you. Like, he's better now than he was.
I agree with Crystal. I think he's actually, he's one of those people that as he got older and got a little gray and stuff, there was more there.
Character or something.
Yeah, more character etched in his face. And, so this is, I put those two in the middle because those are the films, of course, he's known best for.
Of course.
It's fun seeing. Here's a guy who really is paying his dues, taking whatever the hell job is offered to him. Grizzly 2, of course, I think it has been finished to some degree. That would have been, and look at
there's
Laura Dern,
and Charlie Sheen. Wow.
All three of them died together, killed by the grizzly, which was the big sticking point because they shot the movie and didn't have any grizzly stuff. I guess whoever was supposed to make the grizzly ran out of money or ran off with the money, and that's a real problem when your movie's name is Grizzly 2 and you don't even have a Grizzly 1. You got nothing to show. So, and of course, Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
I mean, a classic.
A classic, yeah. Or not so classic.
Well, classic. Class. All class.
Well, this isn't anywhere near his first film. I thought they said it was, but it's... there's a bunch of TV series leading up to Facts of Life, Hunter. Return to Horror High. There's something called... Grizzly 2 and They're Off.
They're Off.
They're Off. Tender love story with Kentucky's thrilling thoroughbred racing world.
Oh, that really sounds kind of not good.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling he's
lost me.
Oh, I'm out of here.
Yep.
But I thought it was funny that they had this line where as he's got a job on a series, so he's walking off the set.
Yeah.
And the actor says, "Gonna be a star, Oliver?" And he goes,
"Yeah."
Try.
That made me laugh.
Well, that's not too prescient.
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, sure.
Who's laughing now?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't last very long.
Nope.
In this movie, as soon as you heard the squeaky wheel, he disappeared. Although, who knows what the squeaky wheel was? Did you notice? I started writing them down. There was the writer had a cart that he had his typewriter on. That in the first scene, he's wheeling that, and there's the squeaky wheel. Then there's a crew is pushing I think it's a spotlight on it, cart or something. It's something piece of equipment. Then there's a janitor's mop bucket. Then there was the clothesline holding the FX limbs on it. That the kind that you pull and it goes on the wheels. And finally, the chair that dear Kathy's body was sitting in makes that squeak, 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 squeak. I mean, there was like half a dozen red herrings in there for the squeak, squeak,
I like how the writer had no respect from anybody, so that this film does touch on some actual truths. So.
Well, so you guys mentioned.
Yes.
Okay, so I absolutely love. I was just nothing but smiles every time she showed up, but I'm confused because she is so over the top.
Yeah,
and she's so deliberately. Yeah, oh, absolutely. She's so deliberately giving a bad, like, I used to do porn films and this is my big chance performance, but she's supposed to be in the part that's real legit.
Pops, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching it, and that's what confused me. I'm like, so this is we're back to film within a film because she is so doing such a performance as a bad actress. And then at some point I realized, wait a minute, if I'm understanding this, and I may not be, I think she's supposed to be a real cop. Mm-hmm. Why is she like smearing herself with blood and coming on to this middle-aged man? I'm confused.
Oh, there was so much blood.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, in the beginning too.
So
In her first scene, she's
Yeah.
like Little Miss Prim and Proper, in that top shot. You got a good sequence there where she's like got her gloves on and everything's well, I don't know, because so there's absolutely no chance in hell that anything remotely like this could ever happen.
No.
Because there's no way that an ambulance and a half a dozen cops are not going to realize some of those bodies are not dead,
Not real,
or
I know.
are not
Yeah,
even
of course.
real, or not even real.
Yeah.
We picked up this artificial arm and carried it over here and put it down as a body part, and didn't realize it was.
This movie's so dumb.
Like, hey, this blood tastes like Caro syrup.
Nobody checked any pulses. Nobody, yeah.
And what's funny is everyone left the scene to go inside, and then they all come back out. The whole movie is ridiculous. It's so awesome and stupid. I love it. It's ridiculous.
What's his name?
I guess someone stole the bodies.
I like the guy. Yeah.
What?
Which means we have another culprit to hunt. To be continued. So, or when they shot the principal, and they're just blasting the ever living out of him, and he goes, "Good clean hit."
No, she said that. I think she
says
did.
"Good clean hit."
Yeah.
He says self-defense.
Yeah. So yeah, this movie was good.
Okay. Here's I should hold on to these. I'll pull these up later. But so Maureen McCormick, yeah, she's still working.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff, and those of everyone knows Marsha. She's Marsha Brady
Bunch,
and a lot of guys my age had a crush on her. I was never a big fan of any of the people on the Brady Bunch, but she seems like a really cool person, and she's done a lot of stuff, and good for her.
She was funny in this, though.
She was very funny in this. I'm just not sure. It just felt like they said, did they change their mind? It's like, no, let's make this the real part and all. Or they could have just explained that she really wants to be an actress, so she's on a movie set, and so she's trying to act and everything. None of those clues are there, so I don't know what her character was.
Well, these are
but I just smiled every time she was on the screen, so I was glad to see her.
These are the kind of lines we get. I think it's the director says, "All my stuff was butchered," just after we've got dead bodies all over the place. All right, Maureen McCormick. Well, let's look at Vince Edwards. Crystal, do you know? Have you ever heard of Dr. Ben Casey?
No.
That middle
Should
shot.
I?
No, you're too young.
Oh, he was hot stuff in the early 60s. He was one of the first medical shows. His shirt became a hot thing. That became a fashion.
That's a scrub shirt or something, isn't it?
Kind of. It's a white shirt with a like a, I don't know what you call it, Nehru type collar, straight collar, not a.
I have what was he in?
Ben Casey.
TV show called Ben
never
Casey.
Even heard of that at all.
Now, was this at the same time as Dr. Kildare?
I thought it was before, but you never know.
Those were the two big medical programs when I was a kid. I never really got into them, but because I think you can see they're in black and white, so we're talking pretty old stuff here. But Ben Casey, Dr. Kildare, Perry Mason. I loved Perry Mason. All those shows are around the same time.
Well, I don't know.
Repeated endlessly.
Yeah, Dr. Kildare was 61 to 66. So I don't think they're probably the same time. For some reason, I thought Ben Casey was before it.
He was great in this, though. Like, he was super creepy, effectively creepy. Like
61 to 66. Wow. Exactly.
Wow. So they were rivals.
Dr. Kildare was
I would not have recognized him. But.
There was a movie in the 40s that had about Dr. Kildare. So that's
I think Kildare was like a movie character that they adapted to a TV show. I don't know about Ben Casey. But that whole thing with the frog and everything was very creepy. This is not how I teach science, because this guy was, even before you got into the whole his interactions with young ladies, it was pretty weird.
But he wasn't real. So
but he wasn't.
It wasn't real. That's why I'm saying, Bill, like, that's what's so funny about it. It's so inappropriate, but it's still the movie. It's not real, which makes it funnier for some reason, because they're being campy and silly.
Well, Dr. Kildare, just to finish off here, Crystal probably knows, was Richard Chamberlain, right?
I do know who Richard Chamberlain is. I don't know Dr. Kildare. I've never heard of that, but I know, of course, everyone knows who Richard Chamberlain is, right? Like,
wow, he did a TV movie in 1988 called The Return of Ben Casey.
Oh.
And he did that TV movie, The Dirty Dozen, The Deadly Mission, same year as this. So,
I'm sure he got pretty typecast doing this.
He did an animated series where he did some voice acting for the Centurions in 1986. The Return of Mickey Spillane's Mike Hammer.
Oh my gosh. Did he play Mike Hammer?
Nope. He played an FBI agent.
Okay.
Did an episode of Tales from the Dark Side.
Oh, yay.
It all comes out in the wash. So, Space Raiders. Oh my God. Yes, he worked, I mean, 88 credits. All right. So it's another face that was in this movie that was kind of odd. It wasn't a big part, but he was the biology teacher that turned dissecting frauds into a horror show.
Yeah.
And
let me tell you something about dissecting frogs. Like, when you're in some school settings, they expect you to dissect these frogs, which I had no problem. I don't care about cutting up things. Not my problem. I did a horrible job, but let me tell you why. Because those scalpels are so dull.
Oh, they're like butter knives. They're the worst.
You cannot properly dissect something with a dull blade. The scalpels should be so sharp. They should, you should just barely have to cut.
But Crystal, they bought those scalpels back when Ben Casey was doing first run episodes. I mean, they haven't been.
They use them once a year and then clean them and put them away. I had never had to dissect a frog. We did. I remember doing something with fruit
I did
flies.
A fetal pig. I did fetal pig, a shark, a frog. Like
starfish. There's nothing in a starfish.
Oh, I didn't.
I think in Iowa they figured, if you grew up on a farm, you probably are like birthing calves and castrating hogs and stuff. And
yikes! All the parts.
You do.
Cutting the heads off of chickens.
Oh yeah. When did we talk about killing chickens before? Was it Luther the Geek?
Probably.
All right.
Made sense.
Enough of that. And then what Bill calls scary stuff.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to choose from.
That was kind of creepy.
See, again, I'm thinking like Scream. We've got a masked killer. We've got self-aware horror. We've kind of got.
And of course, nobody would ever notice all these dead bodies.
Hey, wait a second. Are we done with the actors?
I didn't realize how much.
Brendan.
Well, because I didn't know you were in love with him. I would have searched
far and wide. He's the lead. Like, how could y'all not? Oh my God!
I was too busy looking up Maureen McCormick stuff.
And the young dude, you just left him out. I see. That's ageist. That's ageist. You're being ageist, Bill. Yep.
I didn't know that little Crystal, when she was just a wee little broth of a lass, a wee bear, was like mooning in front of the TV set. He's so dreamy.
Look at him. So have y'all seen the Howling Six, the Freaks?
No.
It's one of my favorite Howlings.
Oh my God.
It's, you know what? No. Too bad it's the 90s, because otherwise I would make sure that we would do it. He's so beautiful in that film. He plays a werewolf that gets kidnapped or taken by a carnival owner who is also something. Maybe you have to watch and find out. Yeah.
I love you, Crystal. I'll bet the director of Howling 6 goes to bed every night thinking to himself, there is no one on this earth who loves the movie that I made. And if only Yeah.
I've watched that movie so many times. He's so sweet and sympathetic. You feel so bad. Oh, it's so wonderful. And the bad guy too is equally bad. BA. What's his name? Oh my gosh. I can't remember who the bad guy is in that though. He's been in some other stuff. Hold on. I gotta look it up because now
even when you search Brendan Hughes, Return to Horror High, you get 2 pictures of Brendan Hughes,
of George Clooney.
Well, of George Clooney.
Yeah. That's
Bruce Payne. Okay, Bruce Payne is the bad guy in Howling 6. Yeah, and he's phenomenal as well. I love Bruce Payne too. Isn't he fabulous? Don't y'all like Bruce Payne? He's wonderful.
What else was he in?
Oh dear God.
It's familiar, but
like I wish I could show you a photo of him because you would totally recognize him. He was in Highlander. He was in Warlock 3.
Oh.
And you know how I feel about Warlock. He plays Julian's character in
wow.
Warlock. He is the Warlock.
You know how I feel about Warlock.
Yep. Oh, Full Eclipse. That's one of my favorite movies ever. It's a werewolf movie with Mario Van Peebles. Have y'all not seen this one?
What is it?
From 93. It's delicious. Holy moly. God, I haven't seen that movie in so long. They're so BA. They're like this band of like werewolf cops. And they're getting like a serum from Bruce Payne's character, who's like the lead werewolf, and then they inject themselves and then they kind of wolf out, but they don't become full werewolves. And I remember like they just go on a trip. They're like this awesome like elite group, and then they're walking back in and it's like in slow motion and they're like so cool. Yeah, that was
I want to watch these movies with Crystal.
Yeah,
that's right.
So cool. It's a good movie.
Keep talking, Crystal.
Yeah, no. It's a good one.
We should probably do some individual
episodes. He was in
episodes.
Necronomicon too with Jeffrey Combs.
We should do some episodes where each one of us gets to pick like one film that's not from the 80s, but a film that we really like that otherwise we wouldn't get a chance to talk about.
Oh my God.
God, no, Crystal would have a hard time picking one of those.
Yeah. Okay, look, let me tell you, I love the 80s, but the 90s.
You're really a 90s gal.
The 90s, so good too. I like them both. I couldn't pick. I could not, but I have as many movies that I love in the 80s as many movies as I love in the 90s. Specifically, probably more the early 90s, if I'm, pre 96 or so. Yeah.
Okay, Crystal, just for you.
Oh, yeah. Look at what he did. Look at that. Dun, 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 dun.
Look how cute he is. And you know what? I got to be honest with you. The sex scene where they're really just kissing, it was so sweet. It was like very sweet, I thought. Like it wasn't like raunchy and precious.
Considering we had one of the most gratuitous nude scenes in the history of gratuitous nude scenes, when they actually got to the love scene in the movie, it was actually kind of tender and nice.
Right.
I think that's why I think that's why this movie is so clever and funny, because they are really trying to make some of it seem really real and authentic, and then they're making the other stuff so over the top and camp. Mm-hmm. Like, what dude is actually going to walk into a girl's locker room and pick her up and say, "I'm gonna walk out of here with her"?
He's like totally in jail. Even in the 80s, that would have gotten you in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was that. There's that scene with Lori Lethen where she is what is it? Alex Rocco's she's doing the scene where the quarterback's attacking her and is really about ready to rape her.
Yeah.
And Alex Rocco sticks his hand from the back seat and lifts her breast up. Come on,
is her breast in the scene?
Did you see them? Are they in frame? She jumps up, gets out of the car, and says, how dare you, blah, 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 blah. She does a little speech about it.
And then what's awesome about it, though, too, is then you realize they're filming that scene just in a garage. And it's not at night at all. If you know, if you I was like, wait a second. I was like, that really messed me up because they were just in a garage pretending it was like night, and then she walks out I don't know if it was a garage, but something, and I was like, oh,
a set.
That's so wild. Yeah.
All right. What did I have? We got to talk about Amos the custodian.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, Crystal. Weird. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, was that one of the guys from Different Strokes in this too? Or something? Maybe not Different Strokes. Maybe
not Different Strokes, but
or Silver Spoon or something.
Facts of Life.
Yeah.
Facts of Life. Is that it? I don't know. I felt like there was like someone else that I remember in this. Never mind. Yeah, the dude though, the weird dude, the super creepy dude. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh. That has the Scooby-Doo moment, which is ridiculous. I mean, come on. What?
Okay. So, just backtracking, George Clooney and Alex Rocco both had recurring roles on The Facts of Life.
Oh, which that's interesting.
Philip McCown's sister, Nancy McCown, who was Philip was the quarterback character. Anyway. Yeah, that whole thing with that guy, and then when he's talking to Brendan Hughes' character and telling him how when he gets famous, he's going to do pussy films.
Oh my God, yes. My God.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And it's
that was the worst.
It was so weird.
Yeah.
So weird.
And then when is that what you're talking about? The Scooby-Doo moment? When
yes.
Peel his mask off?
Yeah.
Yes. It's ridiculous. It's so funny. It's like, wait, what?
And he
That's
says,
a hell of a special effect.
And another one, I think it is Brendan Hughes goes, Castleman, you honky.
Oh, he does. But actually, the subtitles were not the same. It said hunky or something.
Yeah, it said something different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. He kills the principal with
okay, I don't know.
There's just so many weird things. The special effects guy, when they're driving away at the end, he puts on the rubber gloves, and then he has a line. I forget what he says. He puts on those yellow rubber gloves and says something like, "Next time's for real" or something like that.
Oh yeah.
All right. I don't know what else to say about this. I think I've gone through. There would have been 9 deaths if they weren't all fake, and then even the principal in the end, his son goes, "Dad." That's the closing line. All righty. Any last comments?
Well, this is another one of those things where it's like I watch and it's like I'll never have to watch that again. But now, after listening to how much Crystal likes it, I'm like, maybe I need to give this a second chance.
Yeah, you need to actually give it your attention, because I do think, like Jeff said, I made sure I gave this once I saw Brendan. I was like, oh well, I better sit down for this one. And I did, and it was worth it. Because then I realized, I was like, this is so weird and clever and kind of cool the way that it's constructed. It's such an interesting film. I think it was smart.
Mm-hmm. I think Bill said it at the beginning that they tried to do something different.
Mm-hmm. And they did. Yeah, and for sure.
They did. I was just thinking about this. Maureen McCormick. I mean, she starts off this all put together, very sort of uptight police thing. And then the next scene, I think she's got like a big gulp and she's slurping the straw. Not only does she slurp it out the bottom of the drink, then she just slurps the straw out. And then next time she comes up, she's all covered in blood. And then the next time she comes up, still with the blood all over, she's eating something. And she's talking about all the stuff you find in the intestines.
Yeah.
She was just hilarious.
She was fun. Yeah.
She had all these little bits.
She really did a good job. honestly. Like,
All
I
right.
think, I think all those people who have those kind of like roles that they're known for, like this innocent character, just like the
Yeah.
Disney girls feel
Yeah.
like they have to kind of get
Right.
past that image by doing something a little bit harder. I feel like they go harder so that they can break that image.
Yeah,
Miley Cyrus.
Like Annette Funicello. Or
Miley Cyrus.
Miley
Cyrus.
I mean,
See
what
that?
did Annette Funicello? Yeah.
She's from
Yeah.
the 60s, 50s and 60s.
She did the
She was
Beach
on the
Party
Mickey-
movies.
She was on the Mickey Mouse Club, and then she went on to the Beach Party movies.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
and
wore a
that was
bikini.
risque.
Oh, she wore a
Oh,
bikini.
yeah.
Oh, very
Okay.
racy.
Okay.
Uncle Walt did not approve.
Not a bikini like you'd think about, though. A bikini that shows absolutely nothing.
Oh,
yeah.
High-waisted. Anyway.
Was that with Frankie Valli?
Yes.
Yeah, Avalon. Frankie Avalon.
Frankie Avalon. Oh, I loved him.
And Buster
He was very
Keaton, and
handsome.
who knows, and all kinds of
Who
those
knows
movies were
what else
insane.
was in there? Moondoggie.
Moondoggie from Gidget. I watched that when I was a kid. I loved Gidget. What was that? Sandra
Eric Von
Dee?
Zipper.
Eric Von Zipper.
I
yes.
love those movies.
Oh,
They are
God.
trash.
Me
They are
too.
utter trash. But I grew up on the Bowery Boys, so I love
Mhm.
formula. I love formula movies where it's just
Oh my God,
the
where
same
the
damn movie
boys
every time.
are.
Oh
With
yeah,
George Hamilton and his mole and his
Gidget Goes
leather
Hawaiian.
skin. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
yeah.
We need to stop
Listen,
because we do have a fair amount of feedback.
we do.
Episode 246 on the movie Nomads went live 2 days ago, and we have a fair amount of feedback on that. So I'm just going to randomly say Crystal's right next to me.
Okay, I'm actually pulling it up right now. I'm sorry.
Okie
Try
dokie.
to pull up the
Bill,
workflow.
can you see the first one?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I'll take it over from Crystal here. Perfect Mask 1 says, great show, enjoyed it as ever. But who picked this film? I believe that was Chad.
That was me.
Oh, well, I was going to throw Chad under the bus because he wasn't.
Yeah, because he wasn't here. I'm sorry. I'm too honest.
I struggled through the first 70 minutes, bored and unclear what was going on. I couldn't even be bothered to watch the last 20 minutes. Switched it off. Hopefully a better movie next time. Keep up the good work. Love the show. So we do the dirty work so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I used to say when I was a listener, that they alerted us to the dreck out there. You could tell by what the people said, what the crew said, whether you would probably like it or not.
So Perfect Mask 1 doesn't give a thumbs up to this one, but maybe the next person will.
But
yes,
we did a good job. Good work.
Oh yeah,
who picked this?
Of course.
I think we all disliked it, right? Like I don't think any of us
I don't think anyone was defending it.
Well, I was interesting. I thought it was interesting. All right, Crystal, we have one from Mikey Z.
Mikey Z. Okay, have not seen this since it was in heavy rotation on HBO many decades ago. Not one of the best of the 80s. Truth. Bill. Oh God. Bill better watch Neon. Does he mean Maniacs there?
Maniacs, yeah.
As a cleanse to this incomprehensible mishmash of too many unintelligible ideas. Unless you're a nomad, I guess. By the way, nomad spelled for us dyslexics is almost demons. Is that demons?
Yeah.
Demons? Demons,
well,
right?
he left the A in to show that it was close. Demons.
Dyslexic.
Demons.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, nomad spelled for us dyslexics is almost demons. That makes no sense to me, unfortunately, but it does make sense too. And whatever Mikey Z says, I'm down for it. So
that's right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Mikey. And
thanks, Mikey.
Bill, how about one from Ralph Miller?
Oh, one of our favorite ones, Ralph Miller. This movie was hands down one of the most irritating watches I've experienced in quite some time.
You think? Yep. Mm-hmm.
It brings to mind something Stanley Kubrick said in relation to 2001, The Space Odyssey. The quote went something like this: anyone who thinks they understand this film is completely missing the point.
Yep. I agree. That's true, though. He's not wrong. It's absolutely true.
I think you're right. All right, Crystal, Scott Wells.
All right, Scott Wells. Oh God, I am so sorry. Oh, well, I actually saw this in the theater when I was in college. It was a date with my then girlfriend. I was going to say sorry, but she married you. So, I mean, I guess it was a good call.
So it worked out. Yeah.
She must really love you to take her to this thing.
Yeah, that would have been a deal breaker for most women.
That would have been rough. I remember that I was a little intrigued by the ideas in the film, but was ultimately pretty bored with it. And like you, was completely confused as to why Brosnan's character was French. All I could figure,
because he was supposed to be Jeopardo.
Yeah.
So bad. All I could figure was that whatever he said to her needed to be only understood by one person, and speaking English would release the curse or whatever it was to everyone else. I mean, there's so many things that they could. Yeah, I don't know if these beings are based on genuine folklore, but my researches lately have been delving into the origins of fairy mythology. And in their earliest tales, there was some ambiguity on whether there were another race or the spirits of the dead. This seems to fit in pretty well here, as the nomads combine the same elements of spirits, tricksters, and demons that those stories had. I love fae stuff. Like, I have not seen this film since that date night long ago. Maybe I need to revisit it to see if I can puzzle more out of it. Don't do it, Scott. Great show as always. Thank you, Scott, but don't do it, Scott. Scott, you don't need you really don't. I'm saying this as a friend. You really don't. You don't need to
go down the rabbit hole.
That's right.
You don't need to.
All right. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to have Crystal. You want to take Lone Wolf as well?
Oh, because he's going to take the Jerry.
The next one is the Jerry Chandler manuscript.
Okay. This one's awesome. Oh man. I know you guys are loading your guns full of silver bullets for me.
He was one of the people that requested it or suggested it or something.
I deeply apologize for this. And then the little sad face. I thought the power of Mary Warnov would alleviate the bad taste, but even her sexy power has limits. This is true. But I'm glad I saw it. I'm always glad when I see something one time at least. Yes, I saw this on Shudder with captions, and I was just as confused and just disappointed as you guys. Look, we recommend movies we haven't seen too, or we try to watch movies we haven't seen. So we get stinkers, you know. I did like the ending with Mr. Goldeneye looking like he's on the cover of GQ magazine wearing black leather. I agree. I mean, really, that's actually one of the best parts of the film. Great to see all of the famous actors, but they were badly underused. The punks looked more like rejects from Fist of the North Star than actual punks. The whole plot of trickster demons kill you and you become one of them made no sense at all. I mean, that's the worst part. So what's my punishment? Do I have to watch Fury of the Wolfmen the same way Michael McDowell watched those horrible images in A Clockwork Orange?
Yeah. Gonna glue your eyes open, force you.
Oh, Lone Wolf, it's all good fun. So
that's the only way we get Chad to watch Fury of the Wolfman again.
Yeah.
All right, and now, folks.
All right, and now
we have a fairly long list from Jerry Chandler.
You better gird your loins for this one, guys.
Yeah, I may be the only one who finds this interesting. So, and don't feel like you got to race through it because he's got some interesting stuff.
Jerry Chandler, our friend Jerry Chandler, my good.
Oh, by the way, let me just for a second. When I posted this in the, I can never remember the name of this Gruesome Magazine's H&R and DOH Facebook group. I said, you know, we bring the people what they want. At least somebody wanted this, I think. Mm-hmm. And Jerry piped up. I did. So,
of course.
Lone Wolf, you're not the only one. Jerry did also.
Of course he did. Jerry likes to see us suffer. But I approve of that. I mean, you know, he liked it.
But so, you know, the thing about him, you would think he's like kept telling us do Loch Ness Horror because he wanted to see us suffer. But no, I know him enough to say he genuinely loves Loch Ness Horror. And then so did you. So, you know, maybe I'm the crazy one.
No, not
he is very patient and persistent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Patient, persistent. Yeah, gets his way. Okay, Jerry Chandler, our friend Jerry says, I actually quite like this movie, even though I openly tell people it was a massive misfire. That sentence right there sums up Jerry Chandler. He recognizes it's a massive misfire, still wants you to see it. And yes, I own the Blu-ray.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to admit, I was also, you would. I was also one of the people suggesting this film both recently and as far back as the days of the Black Saint being on the show. In fact, rather than just in spirit. The biggest issue the film has is that John McTiernan is not a good writer. Sometimes I think even he figured out, since Nomads is his only official writing credit. John McTiernan was borderline Ed Wood here, saved only by his directing ability, but he was a great idea man, and Nomads was full of ideas. Most of them I long thought were based on the ones Chelsea Quinn Yarborough first established in the novel Nomads in 1984, but later learned weren't. They were just never fully or properly realized here.
So we talked about that on the show. Did she write the novel or was it a novelization? Which came first? We didn't know. And then shortly after the show, I found it on her website, Chelsea Quinn Yarborough's website, and it said novelization. So she was given the script and wrote a novelization from it that was far better fleshed out. And then literally like the same day I looked it up, Jerry posted the exact same link. So I'm with you, Jerry. And I love that our people don't stop looking stuff up for us just because I
yes we appreciate
also
it.
That one up. We really appreciate that.
We appreciate it. And when we make a mistake, when I make a mistake, I do appreciate it that you let us know. Maybe I don't appreciate that it comes up every single time, but that's okay. It keeps me on my toes. Let's see. Another problem was the confusion as to what was at the core of it. And this is also partly why Crystal's feelings that the film dipped into racist concepts with the title Spirits of Nomads is both correct and off base. Okay. They're not supposed to be Inuit. They're also not supposed to be Inuit, a nomadic people common to Canada and known to the Inuit and the more commonly attributed group in that quote. Based on how everything was written, I think they crossed up the Inuit people with, Inuit with one N, the plural form of Inuit. Holy God, people, you're killing me here. Simple short version. In Inuit mythology, Inuit, I know, and I may be mispronouncing anything. I apologize to the Inuit and any demons who I may be invoking here. In Inuit mythology, Inuit are the spirits or souls that exist in all living things and even in lakes, mountains, rivers, etc. At that time, everyone just called, the Inuit Yupik people Eskimos. I honestly think someone was looking up myths along these lines, found the Eskimo myths, and somehow mangled and mixed Inuit, Inuit, and Inuit in their research. Racism may be in it as a result, but I think some of it was accidental racism from mangled research and ignorance of the cultures they were basing some of this on. Now the movie.
Oh, for what?
That was the preamble.
Yeah.
That was the preamble. You basically nailed it both in your comments on what it got right and what it got wrong. It's visually very interesting and almost felt experimental compared to many other American films of the time, and the visuals and sometimes pounding music drive it. It's a bizarre, unfolding mystery where you never fully find out what happened or what happens. I think McTiernan was trying to create a film like 1977's The Sentinel. That's a good point. Where the visuals are almost disorienting and you are more viscerally experience the horror because of how the off-kilter visuals and audio mess with your perception somehow. It fails horribly by not fully developing any of the ideas it throws out during its runtime. It's woefully incomplete insofar as following through in any way that you have to for your audience on almost any concept it introduces. But I still love the film. First, I love what he was trying to do. It was brilliantly different, even if McTiernan failed to deliver. I think I'm always going to be favorably biased toward a film or story when someone tries to do something exciting or different, even if they fail miserably, as could be said about the film we did tonight. Nomads is to me almost like Plan 9. Ed Wood completely bombed as a filmmaker with Plan 9 in just about every way you can list, but damn, you can see such a ripping good film desperate to crawl out from under the failure of a film he buried it under. I think I also enjoyed it and still enjoy it more than you lot did because of the interest I had at the time and still have. I love ancient myths, legends, and mythology. I was already deep into Asian and North and South American native mythology, along with beginning to get into many more when I saw this film for the first time as a VHS rental. The idea of a mischievous or even malevolent trickster spirits and damned wandering souls trapped in the physical borders and boundaries of lands, Brosnan's character following them at the end and pulling over just before the California state limits, was already rooted in my brain.
That was something we didn't talk about, but I thought it was weird how they made a big point of showing that California state line.
Yeah.
Where he pulled up, and I thought, well, that's weird. Is there some reason he can't cross the state line? So,
yeah. Even what pulled him into their world was already there. At some point, maybe even before the start of the film, he became aware of them. In the film, he finally becomes aware of them for what they actually were, and once a mortal does that, they're cursed and damned. For a more contemporary version of that, Neil Gaiman played with this in Neverwhere. The normal folks in the real world don't even notice the inhabitants of the underground world around them, but once they do, they're slowly removed from our world and pulled into the underground world. Neil just explained it through his storytelling way better than McTiernan did. My brain filled in a lot of the blanks McTiernan left in the story, and likely did it with ideas pulled from the same types of mythologies the story elements were rooted in. As such, it worked for me. But you're absolutely correct that McTiernan should not have left that many holes in the story, and certainly not so many of them being as big as the holes he left in it. The end also kind of works for me. He's become one of the damned, but he might not be completely gone yet. There's a sadness there. Maybe it's the knowledge of his fate. Maybe it's because he knows that the doctor and through her his wife are both now aware of them and thus damned. Did he want to escort them to safety, as you all theorize, or did he want to stop his wife in the physical boundaries of California, keeping his wife in his new pack of spirits rather than having her fall into that world somewhere else separated from him? The ending can be so many things, which makes it both kind of cool but also a failure of the writing. It was a great discussion by you lot of a difficult film to wrap one's head around. I'm sorry it fell so flat for most of you, and there wasn't enough of it there for you to kind of enjoy what McTiernan was trying to do with it. Well, I mean, that's just about the best argument for watching the film anyone's ever made. Yeah. And, you know, I think it's great. I think it's really, you know, one of the things I love about Jerry. He's a good guy. But also it's cool when there's a film that nobody seems to like, and it's almost universal.
Well, he gets why no one likes it.
Yeah, he gets why no one likes it. But he was, because of his own interests and everything, he was able to bring something to the film that he got enjoyment out of. And it's, you know, that's cool. And it's perfectly valid. I don't want to get into the politics or anything, but lately it just distresses me when I see films come out and people are like turning into warring factions. If you didn't like it, they say there's something wrong with you. And if you did like it, there's people who say there's something wrong with you, and people are cheering when a film bombs and people denying that it bombed. And it just, oh my God, you're absolutely insane. It's cool that
I don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, it's cool that he liked it, and I think he's right. There is something there. There is something about this film that gets under your skin. It's been under my skin since I first watched it and disliked it all those years ago. And that's not true for a lot of films that I watched and disliked. Most of them I've forgotten. I'll watch them as like halfway through and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I've seen this and I hated it. This one, as I'm watching it again, it's like, yeah, I remember this. It stuck with me. After one unpleasant viewing, it has stuck with me all these years. And I wasn't sure why. And I think he has just articulated some of the reasons why.
See, it is definitely not stuck with me. I haven't thought about it a day after what we did.
The thing that gets me is there's a lot of memorable images that stick in my mind. You know, the scenes down the alleys and the scenes in the hospital and the scene at the end. So anyway, all righty.
Well, thank you for that thought-provoking novel, Jerry. And
you almost made me.
No, I appreciate it, Jerry.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. No, absolutely. And you just wish maybe someone like him had been there when they were right about the time. Like, we're going to film this script, and could have looked it over and said, "Hey, there's a lot of cool stuff here, but this is going to be shite.
Bill, I say that so often with so many films that are like, did no one else get eyes on this thing? I mean, come on, people. So simple things could have really improved it, but
it's worse when it's a film that has some. I mean, some films you just watch and it's like, well, that sucked. Everyone involved with it sucked. They should never have been allowed to make a film, and I hope they never make one again. But then you watch something that has something in it that's like, this is a great idea. How did you not see how badly you stuck the third act? How did that go by you? If you're capable of writing this part that's so good, how could you then follow it up with this part that's so bad?
Do you think that sometimes they have an idea? And I've heard of this about, I don't remember which novels it was, but novels that Stephen King had started, but didn't finish for a long time because he didn't know how to finish it.
Yeah.
And then finally he has the experience or the thought or whatever it is to finish it. And I think they get going on this movie. They're all excited about it, but they didn't really know how to tell that story to make it clear to everybody.
Well, King is kind of infamous for not always having as strong an ending as the rest. And nowadays, when you see something like that, you just like, well, the way Hollywood works now is this movie has to get out at a certain time. We don't have a script ready, but if we're going to make this movie, we got to make it now. Maybe we'll figure out how to end it while we're shooting it. And sometimes that works, but other times it doesn't.
All right. Enough tangentials there.
Ooh.
You haven't heard that? Well, that's our
that's
our classic era phrase. Somebody said tangential, and Chad went tangenitals.
Of course he did.
Obviously, of course.
So that's what we call them now. Enough tangenitals. All right. Thanks very much to Perfect Mask 1, Mike UZ, Ralph Miller, Scott Wells, Lone Wolf, and Jerry Chandler. And
those were good comments.
I'm not going to bring commentary section.
I'm going to bring something up to Bill offline here, but because I don't want to start a whole nother conversation, but something I was debating.
I won't shut up.
There's plenty of ways to stay in touch. Please send feedback to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com or leave comments on the Gruesome Magazine YouTube page or on the Gruesome Magazine H&R DOH podcast Facebook group, or even on the website, gruesomemagazine.com. We love it. We tend to get a lot of repeats, so I know there's people out there that are listening that are not commenting. So maybe you don't want to, that's fine, but we love comments. Did you watch this movie? What did you think of it? What was your experience? What movies have we missed, etc.? So check in. So that's it for this episode, but in 2 weeks we'll be doing another film released between 1980 and 1989. Next up, we tackle one chosen by Crystal, and I wonder how long it's taken her. Why it's taken so long.
Puppet Master. I went to.
Oh, you're good. Puppet Master. You're good.
Puppet Master.
Wow.
I'm so excited. I love this movie. So excited. Where's my blade? My blade's back there, but that's not from the original Puppet Master. That's a different version, but still.
1989. It's currently, as we record this on November 29th, streaming on Tubi, Shudder, and Peacock.
It wasn't. I know I've checked it before. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, right?
I think Shudder's got a bunch of the Puppet Masters, I think.
Yeah. How many were there?
Oh, God, a lot.
Well,
I mean, I even saw the Third Reich one. That was the most recent one, I think.
Right. That was,
but that wasn't made by Full Moon. That was actually so. But I know I liked quite a few of the Puppet Master ones. Actually, I've got another blade somewhere else too, a little one, and then I've got. I really like the little miniatures, though. I'd love to have a leech.
They look kind of cool.
Yeah, Leech.
Leech is like, you know what I'm talking about, right? How she?
All right, we gotta go.
So
we gotta go.
You get to look forward to watching Crystal reenact all of the Puppet Master puppets.
Yes. So catch us again here in 2 weeks for another great horror movie, the 1980s, as only decades of horror can do it. Thank you very much, Bill and Crystal, and say good night.
Good night.
Gruesome Magazine.